What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about a few different horror topics in this video here today. We'll be talking about the Anaconda reboot or reimagining Scream 7. We'll be talking about the Lee Cronin movie. We'll be talking about Final Destination 6. And we'll be talking about Jurassic World Rebirth. So starting off here with the Anaconda reimagining. This movie is coming to theaters Christmas next year, 2025. Now, if that isn't enough to kill your excitement, the fact that it's coming out Christmas Day, Jack Black and Paul Rudd's little announcement video was the nail in the coffin for me and many of you who saw that video. There's no horror vibes whatsoever. It would appear we are leaning more into comedy than horror, and I thought The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent was a competent movie because it's coming to us from the same director responsible for that. So the Anaconda reimagining could surprise me, and it could end up being a very good movie. It's just disappointing that the horror appears to be missing after this franchise spent years dumping sci-fi original movies. I'm not saying the original was this ultra scary project, but come on, at least give us something terrifying at first and then start teasing this comedy. I'll give myself Donkey of the Day though, because I probably should have known we'd be going this route, since it's also supposed to be meta, and of course Jack Black was a red flag if you were expecting it to lean into horror. So who knows? Maybe a true legacy sequel will happen once this one comes out, but seeing as how this one is just seemingly going to lean completely into comedy over the horror, I just am not excited for it at all whatsoever. I, of course, will watch the movie. I will keep up with the movie, see if anything else comes out that will excite me. But that little announcements video and the way they kind of were just hyping up the comedy aspect of it, the first thing that they mentioned was laughing. I don't think they mentioned anything scary-wise with any type of horror vibe to it at all. It's just pure comedy, and I'm not here for it. Maybe you guys will be here for it, but we'll move on now to talk about Scream 7. Scream 7 is coming February of 2026, and we have a rumored lineup of who is playing who. So we already know who's in the film, but we have a lineup supposedly now of who is playing who. Some of this stuff is already confirmed, but according to Daniel RPK, McKenna Grace is going to be starring as Holly, the rich Queen Bee character. Celeste O'Connor is going to star as Chelsea, the heartbreaker of the friend group. Asa Gurman is Brian, who we know is Taylor's boyfriend, who doesn't think Taylor is wanting to have sex for the right reasons. Anna Camp is Jennifer, Sydney's friend. Sam Reckner is Logan, the Ted Bundy-like neighbor who is Jennifer's son. Isabel May is the only one confirmed to be playing her role, which is Taylor, Sydney's daughter, who is rebellious and ready to escape her overprotective mother. Now, I immediately cling to Sam being Logan to his height, being the same as Ted Bundy's, so I hope this piece in particular is confirmed sooner rather than later. I also did cling to Anna Camp being Jennifer, considering that she was suitable for the age of some of the stand-ins that they are casting for right now in Atlanta. So we'll see if all of this gets confirmed sooner rather than later. Let's talk about Chad really quick, because we know Mason Gooding is going to be returning as Chad. Some of Mason's filming dates have surfaced online. He needs a stand-in for the dates in January of the 7th, 8th, 9th, 15th, 16th, 17th, the 24th, and the 28th of that month. Now, there is a mention of a forensic CSI kind of scene happening on one of those dates. So the closer we pay attention to these dates and the stand-in information and requirements needed on certain dates, the more we may be able to decipher if Chad is dying or not. But keep in mind, these movies are shot out of order, 9 times out of 10. Scream 5 was shot in order, but even then, they shot Scream 6 out of order because there was a scene that came online, or some sort of shot that surfaced online of Mason on a stretcher. So people thought he was dead because of the fact that they had him out on a stretcher midway through filming. But come to find out, that was, of course, from the finale. They were shooting 6 out of order. 5 was shot in order. So we got to be careful with some of these dates and just assuming certain things. Got to really have a lot of details with photos, not just the dates alone. But if there's no more dates beyond January, then I think, yes, you could probably bet that Chad likely will die, but fingers crossed he doesn't. Well, maybe some of you want him to die, but we'll see. Now let's talk about this Lee Cronin project. So Lee Cronin's secret new project is actually going to be The Mummy. This was believed by me to be the Nightmare on Elm Street reimagining that I thought we were going to get finally. But of course, the word ancient probably should have led me to think of The Mummy and not Freddy, who is old, but not exactly ancient like The Mummy is. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of this project. Lee revealed this over on Instagram and shared a comment with The Hollywood Reporter to tease us. He said, "This will be unlike any Mummy movie you ever laid eyeballs on before. I'm digging deep into the earth to raise something very ancient and very frightening. I say bring it on." Evil Dead Rise was a hit, so I have no reason to believe that this won't be a hit as well. So fingers crossed something special comes of this Mummy reimagining that's coming from Lee Cronin. Now, Final Destination 6 Bloodlines. We have Tim Nguyen on board, who will be composing the score for Final Destination Bloodlines. He shared this news a few days ago over on Instagram and talked about how it's an incredible privilege, yada, yada, yada. In the background of one image, though, it looks like we have our first look at the logo for the movie. I don't know if that will stick, but it looks a bit silly to me, I'm not going to lie. But I won't go too wild over a logo. I'll save that for the actual story and the actual film. I'm not too familiar with Tim Nguyen. Maybe I've heard him work on some other movies, so I'm hoping he puts together a phenomenal score. I know people think the trailer, or at least a tease for this movie, should be out by now. At this point, with it not even being out, I think we're going to get something during the Super Bowl. That's my bold prediction for this video. I don't think we need a teaser right now. The movie isn't coming out until May 16th. A trailer or first look in February during the Super Bowl, a little over 3 months before release, should do. That's like the standard for a lot of these horror movies these days. We got the Scream 6 teaser in December, and that movie came out in March of 2023. So just keep stuff like that in mind. We're probably going to get something during the Super Bowl. It'd be a big opportunity to highlight that premonition sequence, which is supposed to be a gigantic tower collapse. You want to get millions of eyes on it. And then we'll start having more promotion, of course, with 3 months left to go until May. So let's talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. Gareth Edwards gave some comments to Entertainment Weekly to discuss Jurassic World Rebirth this past week and how it's possibly a new beginning to the franchise. We also got these neat new images you'll have coming across your screen. One exclusively came to us from Screen Rant. But he said, I can't speak for Universal, but it did feel like a new trilogy in a way. I'm not sure what their plans are, but it felt like the beginning of a brand new chapter in this franchise. To me, it's a giant love letter to Steven Spielberg and his earlier films. There are moments in this movie that remind me very much of Jaws. That puts a smile on my face. It's like little greatest hits of all those aspects of his films that I loved growing up as a child. It's essentially a little adventure odyssey across this island, a survival story, really. It would appear a pharmaceutical company is after dino DNA to create a life-saving drug for humanity, and this is where Zora, played by Scarlett Johansson, is coming in. Now, reading everything in this interview convinces me we're about to see a mixture of the strengths from those first set of Jurassic Park movies, and I'm excited for that. Jurassic Park 3, I think, is still one of the weakest entries along with Dominion, but it does have its strengths to it. So I would hope, wish, and pray that they've tackled all of the strengths from each individual movie, not just that first trilogy, and they give us something special. But I trust Gareth Edwards will give us something that is completely better than not only just Dominion, but Fallen Kingdom as well. Because I think the Jurassic World movie that came out in 2015 was the strongest out of the recent trilogy. Many people might agree. Many people might think Fallen Kingdom was the strongest. But I think there is a complete understanding and agreement that Dominion is the weakest out of the recent three. And I actually put out a tweet to see if the fandom in general thinks that Dominion is the weakest overall. And I was shocked to see that many people have actually switched up on Jurassic Park 3 and they have a new weakest link when it comes to Jurassic World Dominion. So hopefully Rebirth gives us something special, washes away the bad taste that Dominion left in our mouth, and we can once again say that Jurassic Park is back to where it belongs, in a strong standing. Let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe, turn on post notifications, so you never miss a video. In the description, I'll have links to all my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there to let me know any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.